Capital theory, the stories behind great businesses. Imagine entering an industry where almost everyone believes the market is already decided. Now, imagine building a company so dominant that competitors spend years trying to catch up. Today, Dangote Cement is one of Africa's largest cement producers and a cornerstone of Nigeria's construction industry. But its biggest advantage wasn't built overnight. It was built through a series of decisions that changed an entire market. This is the story of why Dangote Cement became almost impossible to beat. To understand Dangote Cement, we have to go back to a time when Nigeria relied heavily on imported cement. As the country's population grew and cities expanded, demand for cement surged. Homes, roads, bridges and factories all required one thing: concrete. But much of the cement came from abroad. That meant money left the country. Prices were vulnerable to global supply disruptions, and local production struggled to keep up with demand. That gap was the opportunity. Aliko Dangote had already built businesses in trading and manufacturing, but cement was different. Instead of focusing primarily on importing the product, the long-term vision was to produce it locally at massive scale. That required enormous investment. Cement plants are expensive. They take years to build. They demand reliable access to limestone, power, transportation, and distribution networks. Many companies would have stopped there. Dangote went bigger. The bet was simple. If Nigeria's demand for cement kept rising, the company that controlled large-scale local production could gain a powerful advantage. This is where the story changes from opportunity to strategy. Dangote Cement invested heavily in production capacity. New plants were built. Existing operations expanded. Distribution networks grew across the country. Scale mattered for a reason. In cement, producing more can lower the cost per ton. Larger plants spread fixed costs across greater output. Transportation can be optimized. The company wasn't just selling cement. It was building a system designed to become more efficient as it grew. And the larger that system became, the harder it became for competitors to match it. But the path was not smooth. Building cement capacity in Africa requires billions of dollars, long construction timelines, and significant operational discipline. Infrastructure constraints, energy costs, currency pressures, and competition all created risks. Companies such as Lafarge Africa and BUA Cement were also fighting for market share. No company becomes dominant without pressure from capable rivals. The difference is how it responds to that pressure. Dangote Cement kept expanding, improving efficiency, and strengthening its distribution footprint. As domestic production increased, Nigeria became far less dependent on imported cement than it had been years earlier. Dangote Cement emerged as the largest player in the market and expanded beyond Nigeria into multiple African countries. The question is not, how did Dangote Cement become big? The better question is, why did it become difficult to beat? The answer is that size, production capacity, distribution, brand recognition, and operational experience reinforced each other. Each advantage made the next advantage stronger. That is how dominant businesses are built. Capital theory. Great companies rarely win because of one brilliant moment. They win because they make a series of decisions that compound over time. Dangote Cement did not become almost impossible to beat overnight. It became difficult to beat because it invested early, built at scale, controlled key parts of its supply chain, and kept strengthening its advantages year after year. In business, the strongest competitive advantages are often built long before the market fully notices them. And by the time everyone sees those advantages, catching up has already become incredibly difficult. Capital theory, the stories behind great businesses.